Hi, it is Sunday the 23rd and 7:34 p.m. and I am here because I am hoping that in the bathroom in the first floor, because I want to point out something done by Artique Construction. So I want to preface by saying this bathroom was like a typical 1950s bathroom. You had a thick tile around, surround, and it was on pretty thick, meaning it probably gave another inch or two. And so when I asked for this bathroom remodel, I said I wanted to do a whole bathroom remodel with Artique Construction, Garry Smith, someone I found from Home Advisor. And he was like, okay, we can do a bathroom renovation. I'm like, cool, great, right? Then it came to this piece, which I've had two contractors come and look at this and they're like, what is that? It's like silly. And it's like both of them were shaking their heads, both two different independent contractors that do carpentry, just kind of carpentry and bath remodels, kitchen remodels, shook their head and they're like, why did he even do this, right? Because what happened was, let me tell you something, this is what Garry does. He does something like this. He doesn't tell you because you would think like, oh, you've dealt with bathrooms from the 1950s before. You would expect to run into this issue, right? Basically, because of the thickness, the extra drywall that you would, have to add either another wall or something like that. But no, it's either he doesn't know or doesn't remember, which I doubt because he's been in the business, so as he says, for over 30 years. That why wouldn't he take into account something like this? It's like in any profession, if you have experience in it, you anticipate. You do not like just kind of work on the fly like, oh, whoops, there's something there. That's like newbie, novice stuff. And so what he did was he told me, oh, to fix this would be another $1,000. So I'm just sharing this with you because this is what he does. He's going to tell you to add more because he's not, in terms of like the scope and things like that, either he's a newbie, meaning he's not really into construction, that he doesn't anticipate enough to tell his client to say, what the full true cost of a remodel is going to be. And he leaves you with something like this, where he said, oh, what he could do is just put a stone over it. And this is the problem, is because like the guys is like saying like, we don't know what's under here, and what's probably going to happen is like, it's going to have mold, it's going to grow mold, it's going to leak and things like that. Even if you put a stone over it, even look at how much clearance you have here. You don't, and this is a rounded edge right here. It's not a flat, flush surface. So that means it's going to be hard. Even if you want to put like a tile or something like that, that's still kind of like, the water is going to be draining down here and it's going to get stuck here. And so you constantly have to caulk. You constantly have to maintain this area. And it's like, this is what I did. So right now I am looking to remove this and to get another contractor to do it correctly, so I can actually take advantage of having a full shower door. And the other thing that I talked to you about, there's this trend about like having a half shower door here, and Garry was really hard in selling that because of this thing and other things. And that contractor, again, this is another contractor, shook his head and say, that's going to have water come out. And even if you go to Lowe's and you ask them like, I want to get this up, and you say, well, how about the water? Is it going to go? They're like, yeah, water's going to come out. And I'm like, I don't know if he's doing that on purpose, but it's like, why are you making things where it makes it, you're making the enjoyment, you're making things break down faster, right? I mean, when you spend thousands of dollars on remodeling a bathroom, you don't want to call him again in like 2 years to have him come and fix something, right? You only want him to come fix something if there's something like, that happened that was, like out of the control of, the house, or if something happened to the house where like, oh, there's a fire or something like that and you need to fix something, or something very deliberately done. But this, in terms of design, it's terrible, right? I mean, it's not cool. And, think about it this way, most people, you can have the half shower door, but most people like the guy, even the guy from Lowe's who was, when I was looking for shower doors, was like, well, I guess that's my only option. So looking at that was like, yeah, water's going to come out. So meaning you have to constantly wipe down. I'd rather wipe down a mirror than to wipe down the floor, because that's harder, because it's, harder to see water on the floor typically. than on a mirror, not mirror, excuse me, on a glass, and glass is easier to just take care of. So yeah, I just want to point that out because I am waiting to hear back from him. I want to cut my ties with Artique Construction. I said, you leave the site, you know, we just part ways and we move on with our lives. And I'm going to get other contractors to do stuff, because this is not acceptable. And I wouldn't want anyone to go through this, but I just want to make it aware out there, to let people know, because this is what he does. Either he's you know, not fully aware, lacks situational awareness. And I'm like, if you're doing a major construction project, that is the number one skill that you want to have, is situational awareness. You want to be able to anticipate because of your experience, and not give people, you know, say, oh, this, oh, that, oh, that. I mean, certainly there's things that you cannot prevent. Like if you open up the walls and if you happen to see like a huge, you know, stain or, you know, like damage or whatever, that is totally forgivable, because like, yeah, no one could really know unless you open up the walls. But things like this, like you know, an experienced construction bathroom remodeler would know right off the bat that there is an 99%, I would say 90% chance, but more like 99% chance that the thickness of the walls, because of the tile that they used back then and how they put the tile on and everything, would add another 2 inches. And if someone, like if you're a carpenter or you're doing remodeling things, it's like, you know, as the saying goes, measure twice, cut once. Know what dimensions you're willing. That is spatial awareness. And if you're in construction and if you don't have spatial awareness and don't leverage your spatial experience and past experiences of remodeling, you really add no value to the client. So that is my rant for this evening. Sorry, it's just that I just want to make people aware. So if you're going to scope out work and things like that, these are good questions to ask. You know, like, do you think we're going to be able to have a 60H tub? Do you anticipate any problems? Because if that person is not able to see that and not able to give you that answer, it's kind of like an interview question, then you're like, yeah, no, thank you.